Whew, good morning.
Good morning, Bui.
Is it still morning? We are very far from home.
It is.
And today we are shooting all the way from New York.
The Big Apple.
The biggest apple. Yeah, apple. So my guest today is Lihle Nqini, and we're speaking about the business of luxury, honey.
Of course.
I'm sitting with the boss of MAXHOSA, the real boss. And today we'll just get into a conversation about this exciting journey that we've taken all the way to New York as a brand. And we're going to jump into it and give you all the beautiful insights, but the business side of things, because I'm sitting with the biggest boss. As is mandatory, my name is Bui Mafuka. I'm a seasoned entrepreneur, a luxury consultant, as well as a speaker. And I think today really embodies what this podcast and this platform sets out to do, Lihle, which is chronicling the story of African luxury. And I think you and I spoke about this
the African luxury
off camera. And we'll get into that because I think we really are, as a brand, looking to transcend the African part of luxury, which is why I think we've titled this discussion The Business of Luxury, because that's what we're doing here. And on each episode, we're drawing context just from the richness of the continent and the global landscape and backdrop to really just tell and educate the world about who we are as a geography, this beautiful, vibrant brand that we're seeing here today. I think this is the quintessential story of the epitome that luxury, I think, can reach in our continent. And so we are after restoring the nobility as well as just the culture and everything that it embodies for us. And I think this conversation for me was particularly exciting because it's a very much heritage and culturally rich brand. Lihle is the managing director of MAXHOSA Africa, a trans-seasonal luxury knitwear brand that was founded by Laduma Ngxokolo. The brand is manufactured in South Africa, our home, and is a has a world-class end-to-end production facility, now employing over 300 locals.
Yes.
We've just grown that number because now we've got international staff as well.
Of course. So we're going to remove the word local now.
Employing over 300, over 7 boutiques, and we have the atelier. They are a key economic contributor to the agricultural and textile industries, which I think we know are pivotal, particularly in the discussion of sustainability across the world and in the fashion sector in particular. An exporter, proud to state, and a retailer retailing sustainably sourced wool and mohair sourced locally from South Africa, your home province, PE. The product range includes knitwear styles such as V-necks, and I think you can see the beautiful fashion because we're shooting from inside the boutique. This, crew necks, cardigans, shawls. Love the robes. On Father's Day, get the robe. It's Father's Day today. And the brand image has grown, continuously sustained by the new design and the cutting edge knitwear solutions, which I think we'll get into more just around the business side. I think people have always interacted with the brand from the beautiful lifestyle entertainment aspect. I think today I really want to delve into the business side. MAXHOSA has ascended to global ranks and continues to pioneer the African fashion industry through its ethos and vibrant collections. So, Lihle, in this major milestone, and I've had the benefit of 2 days of being immersed in this space, you've taken a boldly progressive step for the brand. And, the result of a consistent, which I've witnessed as consistent trajectory of growth. Did you anticipate, what has been the reception? Did you anticipate the reception that you're seeing here in New York?
Definitely. What happened in the past 2 days is a dream come true for us. But surely we were anticipating that it would be such and more. For us, I think in 2019, when we did New York Fashion Week, we then said, definitely we have to open up a store here because the reception was so good that we were in plans to open up in the next year, which was 2020.
But COVID.
But then COVID hit. When COVID hit, our lives have to change. Strategies had to change. And unfortunately, because now our focus was more on Johannesburg and South Africa at the time, we then put New York on hold.
Makes sense.
But that was 5 years ago. Throughout the 5 years, the plans of opening up in New York were always there. What also motivated us outside of South Africa, online sales the next big buyers are from New York.
Oh, wow.
So
that's
we
exciting.
knew the reception was going to be amazing. We knew we're going to tap into a market that we don't even know existed. Because as much as you sit and strategize from South Africa,
the business, the laptop work,
you do policies, you strategize. But the experience is much more different.
The practical
of it. And the past 2 days has shown us the practical of it. I've had moments in the past 2 days where I go and sit and stand outside and you see Mexicans, you see Spanish people, you see Caucasian people, old Black people being surprised at the beauty of the pieces.
I've seen
that
too. Yeah.
I've seen that, and it's so amazing that they don't know about the brand. They've never seen the brand before, but they were captured by the beauty of the pieces. So that is what you are not able to strategize when you're sitting in your office.
It has to be experienced
in the moment
and as the brand is rolling out.
Definitely.
So for you, I mean, Friday was I mean, it managed to really, 5 years ago you sat and you had these plans.
Yeah.
How did the 5 years earn you more time to refine what New York would become? Because I think there's a gift in that.
Yes, definitely there's a gift in everything. We might feel like there's a lack at times that we've been planning to do this, but we took such a long time. However, the time made us more resourceful in terms of 5 years ago. Us as a brand were not where we are right now in terms of positioning of the brand. Us as a brand were not where we are financially. Therefore, that time, that good 5 years, gave us the structure and a good foundation so that when we are here, we are able now to
sustain it
and be able to plan and also execute in a level that nothing is going to delay us.
Because maybe 5 years before you wouldn't have been able to at this level.
Of course, not at this level.
And I mean, and I know that the plan is to expand globally to London, to Paris, and all the key fashion districts. How are you continuously refining your business strategy as you do that? Because being at home, and I know that MAXHOSA has always been international. It's what we like to call local, a brand that's born globally and has come home to really reintroduce itself. So how are you continuously refining your business strategy?
I think when we sit and plan our 2024, we always laugh and say, yes, these are the plans, this is our strategies. But we also in our hearts know that so much will actually have to change. And we're always in plans we always welcome new opportunities. When the year started in 2024, we were not aware that we will be in part of the official calendar of Paris Fashion Week.
Oh, wow.
And then in the 2nd or 3rd of March, we showcased our very first presentation at the Paris Fashion Week. What does that mean? Within our planning, it means that we should be always in a position that we can change our strategy, not necessarily change, adjust our strategy to suit what we know for sure will sustain us for the future. So for us being on official calendars of the Paris Fashion Week, which is the biggest platform of fashion, us being here now in New York in September will ensure that we are also in the game of the New York Fashion Week. We will also continuously do talks in the likes of London and Italy so that we will always make sure that our brand is always in the limelight.
I love that so much because it talks to agility.
Yeah.
And I love an entrepreneurial brand because it's not so big that it can't adapt.
Yeah.
And I love, and I've seen, I mean, I've been with the team here this week or over the past few days, and I've just seen how you guys are able to pivot. And I enjoy that because I think it's something that, especially when it comes to the business end, and you sit and you look at the business end, it's something that almost limits or bogs down brands that are rigid, that they're not able to pivot in the face of challenges.
Yeah. The face of challenges is one that we have experienced a lot with our local stores as well, but locally it's much easier because you are always able to pick up the phone and seek assistance somewhere. But here it was a different ball game. I think Laduma in his personal capacity was in New York. We confirmed this space November last year. We were supposed to open in Feb. And that didn't happen because of the challenges that we went through. There were challenges of opening up a business in New York, and as a foreigner, it is not that easy. If you're in South Africa, you just need your ID. Here, it's different. You need the regulations. The regulations are different. The policies are different. The tax laws are different. Everything is different. Opening up a bank account might seem simple in South Africa, but that here is different. The currency, the conversion. I'm still converting. I was told not to convert every time I purchase something, but there's always an urge that you want to know. Even if you don't convert, as soon as you're done with the payment, you're looking at that SMS. You're looking at that SMS. That SMS tells you, oopsie, that was a lot. Because now it's times 18, 1 rand times 18. And it fluctuates, and it's quite expensive. We went through challenges of finding the perfect constructor for us for the store to be up and running. We went through challenges of finding the perfect staff as well. For us, that is also quite important, because human resources make or break your brand. They do. They will be the face of MAXHOSA.
Let's get into that a little bit more, because I love that you're raising the challenges, because this is a site that somebody from wherever they're viewing this episode does not know. Practically, you may have a brand in New York looking to get into South Africa, for instance, and sharing the knowledge on this platform is part of what we're doing, which is educating. So, let's talk about people. People are central. People are part of your end-to-end productivity as a brand. From the manufacturing, what does it look like now that you have to manufacture the volumes that can also feed into international markets, the shipping, the logistics, the packaging, the pricing strategies?
So when we look at those strategies, I don't want to lie, it's quite a nightmare. The logistics of it, we've couriered and shipped all over the world, but not in such huge quantities. So that became a challenge. We had to now have relationships and open up accounts with clearance agencies. We now also had to understand what documents and numbers that we need to have. We're still learning, by the way. We are in it. It's a learning curve, and every day we just find out something that's new. So the logistics have been a bit of a nightmare, but somehow slowly we are managing and getting our feet around that. Also with the humans at our workplace, when we strategize, remember South Africa, size-wise in terms of production,
that's the other aspect.
Size-wise in South Africa, we end at XXL. But now, geographically, men here are much taller,
and broader,
much broader as well. So now that we're gonna have to probably adjust our manufacturing to know that we have to accommodate a 5XL, and not with an actual normal pattern. If it is a normal pattern, because they are much taller and broader. So we have to make those adjustments. Also to note, how are the ladies? Are they more petite, or are they more in a bigger scale? So that for us has been something that we always have to look at. We are always on New York news. That's something new for us. Always on New York news. And also when you talk about such challenges, you also have to find ways to
find the solutions.
Find solutions to it. And we are also in a privilege that in this Canal Walk Street, we have found brothers and sisters that we are able to go to and ask the questions of how does it do size-wise? When it comes to the sales team, how many hours do they work? How long?
There's also that. Because stores here open at 11.
Oh my goodness. I I don't understand that.
It's just like
there's past
midday,
few weeks,
basically.
Past few weeks that I've been here, in my head, everything in South Africa opens at 9.
Yes.
Here it's 11, and by the time it's 11, they're still so chilled about it. They're still opening
Begins
up
to pick up at lunchtime.
Yes, yes.
So, I mean, there's also the seasonality of it because the winters here, you're a knitwear brand, but you're a trans-seasonal brand. So you're available throughout the year. Talk to me around your materials and the adaptations, if any, to the seasons, because the winters are that much colder. And with the mohair and the wool. So
at times, in fact, not at times, we're trying to run away from the word knitwear brand.
Yes.
As we have transcended and are now using more material. We're into denim, we do chiffon, we do velvet, we do silk, we do satin, and various other materials that we use. So that has helped us as a brand to transcend throughout the different seasons, which has been amazing for us. So for the winter season, we use 100% wool, which is quite warm, good on the body. We used to mix it with mohair, but mohair is a bit itchy on the skin, so we just use 100% wool for that. And then for the summer, we then use all the various materials.
Because the chiffons,
using chiffons, using organdy, using satin, using our knitwear is viscose, which is even though it's knitted, it's a lighter and cooler feel to your body. So we use all those different materials, and every day as it comes, we still are planning to use more materials because we're exploring everything that is available in the world, making sure that it is natural fibers.
Is the idea to tap into local, I mean, from a production perspective, are there plans to produce locally?
Definitely.
As you move through different geographies across the world?
Definitely. There is the logistical nightmare that we can combat by doing that locally. And also when you are in a place, we now in New York, we also want to be part of the GBT growth
of the New York.
Of the New York.
Of the US.
Of the US. So it's definitely something that we're looking forward to doing. We even have already found a t-shirt supplier. So we're already in the process of speaking to them. We've already on the process of speaking to packaging suppliers, local ones that will make our lives a bit more easier, so that we don't always have to ship everything from South Africa.
Because the unforeseen expenses of, as you said, you didn't know you're going to need to get clearing agents or open like accounts linked to maybe your shipping. So I would also just, from a flagship store model, and I know that we're here at this location for 6 months.
Yes.
And there's already indications that this will become a lot more permanent, which I love for you. I love for the brand. From a staffing solution, what does that look like in terms of the split between, because I've seen a huge community of South Africans in New York that have come into the store.
I didn't realize how huge it was.
Yeah. So I think, from a service level, what are you understanding about New Yorkers versus the brand being South African? Well, it's a South African born brand, but a global brand in all respects. How are you planning to resource the team?
So at the moment, and I use at the moment for a reason, the team is South African born, New York based. That decision was made because they know more about the brand. They will be able to tell the information in a very personal level. However, we are in the plans. I actually have a meeting after our interview today, in the plans of bringing also locals, because at the end of the day, we just don't want to be excluding anyone.
Absolutely.
We will then also have other cultures as well, who, if they're Spanish, if they're Americans, British, we don't know at the moment. However, that is in the plans.
So it's inclusive in that respect.
Correct.
And with regards to the piece around local base, I think as you grow and as you learn and as you develop, are there policies or regulations that you are susceptible to in this market?
Yeah, of course.
Where you have to either assemble or manufacture a portion or a percentage locally, or it's not dictated to as yet?
And it's not dictated as yet. However, our local staff in South Africa, when this plans came through, everybody was notified that as much as we are based in South Africa, you have to now know the laws and the regulations and the policies
of the US or of this particular state?
At the US, at this particular state at this point, because we always have to adjust. It has not been imposed on us, but we are already...
You're being proactive to it.
Being proactive to it and making sure that we don't get it in the wrong side of the law.
Yes, I love that. And so with the store, and I know this about all your other boutiques, that there's quite a 360 experience, an immersive experience that you give. What are some of the local sort of artistic and cultural nuances that you want to bring into this store as an experience, a retail experience?
Today. I'll start with today.
There's a lot happening.
There's a lot happening. Today, from 3 p.m., we are bringing in the Major League DJs. They'll obviously bring in our Amapiano sound. Yeah. That is part of the experience we want to bring here. We've actually been joking and we're calling this shop the South African Embassy, because that is what we want it to become. Yes. So that any South African, let me not say South African, any African that arrives in New York, they make sure they make a stop here. They make a turn here. We want this to be the embassy of South Africa, so that everyone then feels welcome. When I come back to the experiences that you were referring to, for us, experience comes in from, as you're walking through the door, you are walking through our rug.
Yes.
That's an experience. That's you feel it, that I have now walked in at MAXHOSA. The wallpaper is an experience itself. Yes. It's part of our lifestyle offering. The home. Then the staff welcoming you here as part of an experience as well. And we also do plan to expanding, not just our MAXHOSA offering, is for us to sell luxury African books.
Yeah.
We are in the plans to doing that. So a touch of Africa, and not just our clothing brands. Yes. So that is the experience that we want to bring. We also want to share stories of who where we come from, the music as well. We want to play South African music. And also, when we have such experiences, we also want to drink South African wines, like we did with the I-based wines at our launch. South Africanly made wines. That is part of the experience we want to give through.
And I mean, I love that. I love that in every respect. And I mean, it's quite a key milestone. It's June 16 today.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
30 years since our democracy. Your store is launching internationally at this point in history. What does that mean to you?
It means that God listens to our dreams. 30 years ago, when the youth of South Africa marched on this day, they didn't know that they were doing that for us to be able to take a flight and come and open up new spaces. That means a lot to me, because I feel like on a personal level, we can do whatever we want to do. Today, when we say it's Youth Day, I think I open my social media, the time zones can trick you. My social media is full of Happy Youth Day. Some people are wearing their school uniforms. But for me, I took a moment to think that, oh my goodness, the way the path has been paved so that we can actually run, and we have run with it. That's why we're able to sit here today.
I absolutely love that, and it's giving me just like some emotions, because we are also sitting here as two South Africans in a place that we would never have had access to.
Of course.
But we are able to fully be ourselves and expressive of ourselves, and in having this conversation. The flagship store model for me is always something that, and now let's talk business. Let you and I get into the business of it, because I know it's a very Western way of growing your luxury footprint. And when I research it, it seems the Western luxury brands find Africa limited in being able to roll out their luxury footprint from a fashion high street or a luxury retail sort of flagship store model. Are you coming into the space, are you purely coming in to fit the mold? Or actually, let me phrase that differently, because I think you're a brand that's positioned so beautifully to expand into the rest of the continent. How else do you envision being able to grow your footprint without necessarily fitting the mold of flagship store? Because I think flagship store dictates it must be a certain gallery of fashion. It must have certain ritualistic practices as you move in. But for MAXHOSA as a brand,
I like how you say, do you want to fit in the mold? And the answer is no. We've never wanted to fit in the mold. However, we want to align with the mold.
Okay.
And by aligning, it means that we also have to now look back to our strategies and see how the other brands have been doing it. We aspire to be like Louis Vuitton and your Balenciagas. Yeah. We aspire, we won't lie. We look up to them. We see what practices that they are doing that have made them be there. And we also watch documentaries, we watch where the brand comes from. And I believe that most of these brands have been around for 50, 100 years. And we've only been a brand that's been around for about 14 years. So therefore, we still need a lot that we actually need to do. So for us, fitting in the mold is a definite no, but aligning a definite yes. And when it comes to flagship stores, we also want to take it organically. I always sit back and think in our first store, our first brick and mortar store that we opened in Newtown, which is 2015, late 2015. When we opened that store, we were so excited. The launch event was an amazing event. We also made money that we have never made before because now we had new clientele. And then I always think back to those moments and say, at the time, we just wanted to make it. We didn't want to fit in any mold, but that mold that we wanted to build for ourselves was a mold that was one that says we want to be in this business and not be just designers. I'm not a designer. Laduma is. So we then said, how do we make sure that we're not just creating beautiful products? How do we make sure that in the business of fashion, we are there, we're also aligning. And then we always sit and strategize and take that forward. So now with the flagship stores, it's not something that we are crazy about at this moment, but it is something that we will then have to sit and align and see what the future holds for us.
And I think I love that because I think it's a natural progressive step. And when you mention that you're only 14 years in, I mean, progression will always determine.
And I always say when we speak about growth, I always say our brand has grown organically. And when something grows organically, it doesn't need much for it to
sustain itself,
for it to flourish, because everything is done in a way that makes it sustainable.
So you've got a community bigger than certain cities. The MAXHOSA community. Talk to me about, what is the spirit? What is the energy? How have these people organized themselves and become this community?
I need to mention that MAXHOSA community, the actual Instagram page is not
even managed by you.
It's not even managed by MAXHOSA. We one day woke up and saw that there is a community that is in love with the brand, that wants to showcase the brand, and every day you see that community.
That's amazing.
Is growing and growing and growing. Actually, it's the first, when I open up my Instagram every morning, I always go to MAXHOSA community because I want to see how happy our community has become. And for the first time this year, when we had our Fashion Week, our festival.
Yes, the culture festival.
Our MXS, we don't even call it MAXHOSA, we call it MXS Cultural Festival. For the first time this year, because we are always at work, we are always busy, I took a moment to reflect. Oh my gosh, around 80% of the almost 1.5 attendees were wearing our brand.
Oh my God.
I've never seen such beauty in my life. I turned this way and that way. They were so happy to be there. The weather was great and they looked so in love with our pieces. And for me, I said, goodness, when did we create such a huge community?
They organized themselves.
They organized themselves, and it was so amazing to watch that they all living in, it's such a peaceful and happy environment to be in. They organized themselves. And also remember, 40 people have the skirt. Then chances of someone else wearing the same skirt are very high. But you know what? I saw two beautiful ladies, excuse me, embracing. Oh, hi, Twinny. They had styled it differently.
Of course, that's the personal.
That's a personal touch to it. But they had the same skirt, styled it differently, and they were so happy to see each other, and they didn't know each other, by the way. So it was such a beautiful reflection to say that we have built a community that we didn't realize. Yes, we knew it was there. That's why we even started the festival. That was the reasoning behind.
So they prompted it.
They prompted it because we always had a challenge of when we do fashion shows, we would maybe invite approximately 600 of our clients. However, that is just a handful of our clients. There's so many other clients. And then we said, what platform can we use so that everyone is actually welcomed? And then that's where the ideation of the festival came through. And we said, how do we make it different so that it's not just another music festival?
Yeah.
Then what do we call it? Cultural. So part of the food adds into the value. Part of the artists, the artists are carefully curated to make sure, excuse me, to make sure that it is the artists that also support the brand and also will also entertain in the
true nature.
Our guests in a very beautiful nature. The beauty of us having activations there, the beauty of us showcasing how we make our pieces, the
styling of the hair, that was so beautiful.
That is all part of the experiences. The styling of the hair is something different that you've never seen.
So beautiful.
And in the future, we're also planning to do more artistic hairstyles as well. And then there was the fashion show that seals it off. So we then said, we've got something great. Let's start with it. We've had 2 already. And by the end of this month of June, we will be starting to sell tickets for
the third one.
Can
we expect to see it here? Because I think it's just, New York the people are so beautiful and self-expressive.
We went out last night and the Major League was playing in a venue. And when we looked around, we said, these are the people that will attend our festival.
Yeah.
A seed was planted yesterday, and we'll definitely have that conversation further. But we would want to do it here because the community has already formed itself, so it would be a much easier
absolutely has
process.
What excites you most about the brand at this point in its journey?
Oh, what excites me is that I don't know what tomorrow holds. I don't know what tomorrow holds for the brand. I do know some of the plans that we have. The plans are super exciting. I'm just even speaking 2024 plans. I'm not even expanding to the 2025. It's huge plans that we are actually working on.
Yeah.
And what excites me is that tomorrow is uncertain, but it's certain at the same time. I know for a fact we're going to do great tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact something is going to come and it's going to shake us.
Stretch
us so that we even do much greater.
I love that. I think I particularly love the fact that you guys are a family business. And the extension that I've seen of that is the community.
Yeah.
Talk to us about just what you've seen here with people just coming. And just like lending and supporting and serving.
I think this past 2 days has been so amazing. The faces that have walked in through the store, their excitement in their eyes. We know a certain community, but now we've been exposed to a community that we've never anticipated. We are quite excited that when we leave here, we know when we come back, our team will tell us more about what has happened, what has transpired throughout the time that we are not here. When we call, we're going to have new faces, new questions. I love questions. I love, where's this brand from, so that I can easily brag about my hometown and the wool that it produces. But the most important is that the community is there to support. I think one of the things Laduma said in our launch on Friday was, yes, we are here for 6 months. However, it is you, when he said you, who would determine how longer we stay.
I love that. I mean, I just love the childlike nature that you all embody, because you're willing to dare, you're willing to discover, you're willing to not know.
Yeah. And it's okay to not know sometimes.
You're willing to not know. And I think maintain that, because it's probably the magic that sets you apart.
Yeah. We always say our brand is not just bold in color, it's also bold in steps that we take, which are
unimaginable,
seem unpractical. I can't spill out all the details. You were here 2 hours before our opening.
Yeah.
And you saw how
divinely
it
came together.
It came together, and how things transitioned from the working mode to a very happy mode.
Just beauty,
excitement, grace that was welcomed into here.
Grace. You spoke to me about the lifestyle aspect.
Yes.
And I mean, we're sitting in one of the most beautiful parts of the world. Can we expect to see more of the brand in people's homes? Architecture here, I think. How is even, and I must have this conversation with Laduma around how he's going to draw inspiration to expand the lifestyle and the home offering.
So with the lifestyle home offering, even locally as well, in the past, we have never really launched it to say, hi, we're doing rugs, this is our homeware range. So we just said we have a homeware range, which was quite limited to rugs. It was limited to wallpaper and cushions. Around a year ago, we then strategized and said, let's not limit ourselves and use the word home.
It's lifestyle.
It's lifestyle. And then we then sat, and funny enough, we went back to our 2020 strategy.
Never lose the strategies.
Never lose the strategies. It might seem impossible at the time. We just go back to our 2020 strategy, where we had written down what we aspire to do in the lifestyle range. And we have now literally sat and now thought, oh my goodness, we have ticked most of the boxes that we had placed for ourselves. We now do outdoor umbrellas. We do normal umbrellas. Last week, we launched our collaboration with Towel Africa. We now do
toweling.
We do tiles.
Tiles.
We actually do towels.
Oh my God.
We actually do also toweling as well. Toweling and robes. We've ticked that. We are, some I can't say off the record. Off the record, we are also doing more of an expansion. And in the future, 2024 future, we're also planning to open up a store where we'll obviously start locally with just the
lifestyle.
Just the lifestyle
beautiful
pieces. As soon as we open up there, we will now pass it down to here. We will also have our rugs available to sell here. People will be able to see our catalog of wallpaper and order from that.
That's absolutely beautiful. And I mean, in these parts, I think you will never miss a step, because I think I've seen how vibrant, and there's just such an energy. Yesterday, there was the block party here on Canal Street that we attended, and I just saw such beautiful, emission of life and energy. And I think as we wrap, what is your ultimate luxury?
Sleep.
At this point,
sleep. Right now, at this moment, is sleep. But I remember saying to the team earlier this year, buckle up. It's going to be really busy. And I didn't even anticipate in my own head at how busy it was going to be.
Yeah.
Like even right now, we've been hopping. I haven't really seen my kids because I went from London, a day home, Cape Town, a day back to New York, and once I land back in Johannesburg, there are projects that are unfolding. But time and sleep and spending time with the people that I love is luxury, and also having that conversation that are very meaningful in life, because we are so consumed with life always happening that sometimes we forget to take a moment to reflect. I think we had the conversation yesterday morning when it rained. When we opened the store, it was blessings.
It was blessings.
It was
in our culture, the
significance is blessings. Even yesterday, the whole day, we spoke about how we have worked so hard to be here and how it has been a success thus far. And then the song Kayang Stana played says, God heard our prayers, and there was a sentence where it says, no Satane atuktele ajikendleleni. And there are times that we felt that things are impossible, but none of us would express that. In our hearts, we said, yes, it might seem impossible, but we're going to make it. And none of us in our team is negative about anything. Yeah. We can see time is against us, but we are all pushing just to make sure that everything is going to go well. And at the launch, someone used the word perfect. Tonight, everything is perfect. And I said to them, perfect. And they said, yes.
Perfection.
Perfection. And in my head, I'm like thinking, that is a huge word. It's a huge word. But I then sat and said, that person saw perfection. Let me not disturb their peace. Yeah, it was perfection.
It was perfection.
That's why we're here.
And I think it's perfection in what one felt more than what one saw.
Yes, the feeling. There
was a feeling.
Yeah, you've described it well, that there was a good feeling about being here.
Okay, thank you very much. I have loved this brand. I studied this brand as part of my master's, as I told you. I have obsessed over this brand, and I think to be here, I was going to travel all the way from South Africa.
To say, please tell them you travel all the way from South Africa.
Specifically for this.
Thank you so much.
I think some will realize it later. But you are on some good stuff here. And I think it's above all of you. So thank you very much. And thank you for this conversation.
Thank you so much, Boye. We appreciate every second we've spent with you. Yeah. I've said, I think I've said it to you. I hope I have. I hope it didn't lie in my thoughts that one might say, I want to help, but they don't know the meaning of the help that they want to offer. You went in physically, and you went to change. You went to change so that you can come back.
Please don't blast me.
Don't blast. I've got evidence.
Please don't blast me.
I have that evidence. I really appreciated you. I appreciate that you came, you saw situation, and you were within. Not so many can do that. We appreciate you flying, 20 hours, 20 plus hours to be here with us and covering us.
And you'll stay covered. I think globally, wherever you go, there's nowhere where you'll set foot that I think I won't be, because I want to be part of the story.
Thank you.
30 years from now, we will have a brand that is 40, 41, 44 years old.
Of course.
Yes. And we will be in all the major markets, and we'll reflect and have this conversation 30 years from now.
We always receive.
Thank you.